Hi everyone, just a quick video to show you how to plumb your training zones into Training Peaks so that we can actually start to really accurately track how hard you're working during your training sessions. Okay, so hopefully you've seen the previous video about how to work out your training zones. If you haven't seen that video, then we'll post a link to that below. That video will show how to input your benchmark test results into our web page, the calculator on our web page, and that will give you all the training zones. I'm going to refer to that information in this video to plumb it into Training Peaks. All right, so without further ado, just going to drop onto my Training Peaks account here, and we've got a test client set up on this left-hand side. So I'm just going to take you through how to set those zones up. All right, so first of all, going to simply click on zones. And as you can see at the moment, it's just got default zones set up. Now, they're not going to help us very much. So we're going to go in and we're going to adjust some of these. All right, so first of all, we're going to start off with our CSS, so our critical swim speed test result. So click the little icon there. As you can see, it goes into your settings. And this is the speed section within zones within Training Peaks. All right, now we want a specific one, not a default. So we're going to add swim. Now, when it comes to swimming, we don't kind of use the swim data. We find it's not massively helpful. Training Peaks isn't amazing at tracking swim data. Okay, it's much better on the bike and the run, but we still want to put the threshold pace in there so that it's recorded and it gives an approximation of how hard the system thinks you're working during each swim workout. All right, so at the moment it's set to, as you can see, the little box there, threshold pace 0.00. We worked out that our critical swim speed pace was 2:07. Pop that in there, and again, this is seconds per 100 yards. I generally keep it as that because this is only a kind of rough calculation in terms of the swimming side of things in Training Peaks. We don't need to go into the detail too much in Training Peaks on the swim side of things. All right, so auto calculation, threshold and speed, and quite simply, it sounds quite strange, but we use Joe Friel for running. Okay, so simply hit calculate Joe Friel for running, hit calculate, and you'll get a load of zones set up there. Don't worry too much about the zones. We don't train using zones, the Training Peaks training zones, so don't worry about the accuracy of these too much. The main thing is that you've got a threshold pace programmed in there, and the system can then work out roughly how hard you're working based on the results that you submit. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to apply those, and there we go. They're all set up and they're sitting in Training Peaks for you now. All right, so that's the swimming side of things done. Click save. I'm going to save and close to come out of that, and here we go. Give a message saying that your new threshold is being applied to your planned workout. Again, don't worry too much about that. Okay, so the next one, we're going to have a look at our bike power and heart rate. Okay, so again, on the left-hand side, we've got power. It's set to default at the moment, so we're going to click on that one. Again, default power zones. We don't want default, we want our own one. So we want bike power. We're going to add activity, click bike and click add. And here we go. So threshold zones, your threshold value is currently set to 0. And we are going to, what do we work on? We worked on 190, didn't we? So 190. So remember, this isn't the result from your 20-minute test. This is 95% of that, so 190. So we worked out that we had 200 watts for 20 minutes. So we're using 190 for this figure. Okay, so auto calculation, threshold power is the correct selection there. And we're going to use, it doesn't matter which one we use actually, because we're going to overwrite it. So Andy Coggan, just click that one at the top, click calculate and click apply. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to remove number 6 because we're only actually using 5 training zones. So if we go back to our calculator, and we scroll back up to the bike results, you'll see them here. Look, 5 zones, and these are the numbers that you want to program in. All right, so first of all, this is power, don't forget, not heart rate. So the first one is 0 to 122. The next one down is 122 to 164. Here we go, 164 and so on. 164 to 193 and 193. This doesn't make great entertaining television, does it? But never mind. 213 and 213 to, we take that up to 413. You could probably go higher than that, but that will be fine. All right, so simple as that. Click save, and that is your bike training zones set. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you like, you can actually give them better names. So we call zone 1 colon recovery, for example. I won't type them all out because, again, that won't make recovery. That won't make the most entertaining thing to watch. All right, so I'm going to save and close that. And as we can see over here now on the left-hand side, we have our bike power zones. All right, so what will happen now when you go into your bike training sessions is it will actually give you specific, just you see it on the screen there, specific intervals based on specifically on your power and on your test results. All right, so now we're getting much more dialed in with training. Okay, so that's the bike. We're going to do bike heart rate as well. So we have bike heart rate. So you go right to the top, got default heart rate. Click on the little icon, the pencil icon. We've got default heart rate at the top, so we're not using that. We're going to add a bike heart rate. Bike, add. Threshold heart rate, what do we work out? So we used a default. We just used 200 to make the maths easy. Don't worry about max. Don't worry about resting. Again, lactate threshold, you select that option. Joe Friel for cycling is the option you select. And calculate, it's already calculated that. And apply. Now, what you should find is if you compare those to, oh no, hang on, no, ignore that. We're not. We're going back down to 5. I confused myself there. So first of all, zone 1 recovery. We are going to plumb these numbers in again from the table. So 0 to 162, 162, and then 162 to 178. And as you can see, the zones that I've calculated previously are pretty accurate compared to what we're using. Everyone uses slightly different formulas, but this is what we work on. So 178 to, what have we got? 186, 186, and then 186 to 203, 203, and then finally 203, and we just go up to kind of, we'll go up to, I don't know, let's put a default in. Let's go 20 beats higher than threshold. All right, so 223. Oops, 223. Okay, so let's save that. Save and close, and there we go. We have bike heart rate zones as well. So if you have power, usually you work on power and use that as a preference. That's the one you kind of go to when you're monitoring things and training. If you have heart rate only, then clearly use heart rate instead. Best thing to do is if you've got power and heart rate is to use power predominantly, but refer back to heart rate because heart rate is much more sensitive to things like your fatigue or dehydration, temperature, that kind of thing. So it's good to kind of keep an eye on both. Also, if your power meter fails, it's good to have an idea about your heart rate training zones as well, and roughly whereabouts your heart rate should be for any given effort level. All right, so that's the bike. So finally, we're going to go onto the run. Similar kind of process with the run. Let's have a look. What did we go? We had what did we get? 8:21 threshold pace. So there'll be a pace one here somewhere. So here we go. Pace. We're going to add a new one, so swim and pace. We want to add a new activity, and again this one is run. So add threshold pace. Here we go, and we worked out that it was 8:21 minute miling luck. So we always use minute miling on here. You may have set to kilometers, in which case obviously use the kilometer one, but I'm old school, working minute miles. So here we go. Threshold speed is the one you want to choose, and Joe Friel for running we use, and hit calculate and apply those. And again, we make our own adjustments on this. So we remove the bottom two and we make some adjustments based on our own results. So let's have a look. We've got, we have zone 1. We have 10:47 to 0. That's fine. So it's from 0 to 10:47 and 10:47 to 9:31, 931. Oh, 931's already in there for that one. And what we've got, 851. Oh, that's already in there as well. So see, their calculation is obviously very similar to ours here. 851 to 821, that's correct. And then 821, we've actually got 729 for VO2 pace, 0729, and that's it. Save that. Now don't forget we've got heart rate too, so let's just add that in while we're here. So we scroll right the way up to the top. So we've got bike heart rate, default heart rate. We're going to add a run heart rate here now. So add run heart rate, and we have threshold heart rate of 160. Again, don't worry about the max or the resting. Don't worry too much about that. Lactate threshold is the one we select. Joe Friel for running again. Click calculate. Click apply. Remove 2 because we work on 5 training zones now. We used to work on 7, but now we work on 5. And we are going to go. Heart rate is 0 to 135. That's correct. 135 to 146 we have on our zones. 146 to 152, 152 to 160. So just copy them across from the table that you saw in the other video. So 160 to, let's go up to 170 at the top there, 170. Now don't forget you can retype these. So we have zone 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5A. And again, we call them slightly different things. So zone 1 recovery is the same. Zone 2 aerobic is the same. Zone 3 tempo is the same. Then we've got threshold. And our zone 5 is slightly different. So we call it, and again, just copy this from the table on the website. We call this VO2, VO2, and that's it. So we save that, save and close. All these new thresholds and things are going to be applied to your training sessions from now on. And again, if you go into any of these now, so the intervals here, if you put your mouse over some of these, it'll tell you you're going to be running hard at 7:36 pace based on what we just programmed in, running easy at 11:08 pace. So you get much more information about how hard you should be working. All right. So as simple as that, really. Again, I get used to doing this thing day in, day out. A lot of that might be too quick for you. And if you may have a load of questions, if you have, then drop them in the comments below. Again, if you haven't worked out your training zones from our calculator, then click the link to the other video and watch that. But that means you've done your threshold, your benchmark tests, you've worked out your training zones, you've programmed them into training peaks, and you're good to go. Just go and do your training. The training program will show you what kind of training zones to work in, how much rest to get, that kind of thing. And every now and again, you'll be retesting and tightening back up those training zones and redoing those benchmark tests and making sure everything is as it should be and hopefully making progress. Some of you will probably be watching this video not having a clue what I'm talking about in terms of the training programs. So this video is mainly aimed at, we have a training program called Do 3 Commit, which is an ongoing training program for triathletes, which is the squad program effectively for Do 3 Squad. We also have middle distance and standard distance and long distance training programs based on particular races. So for example, the long distance program is 36 weeks and then they get shorter and shorter based on whichever race that you're doing. All right, so if you're interested in that kind of thing, we'll take you through it. You get training programs similar to you can see on the screen there with lots of detail. This all feeds through to your Garmin and feeds through to Zwift if you happen to use that. And it's super simple. We put training videos in there just to try and assist you along the way as well. All right, so yeah, give us a shout if you're interested in that. This is called Do 3 Commit. So I'll pop a link to Do 3 Commit down below. And hopefully you'll find that useful. Just finally, if you found this video useful, then please give us a thumbs up. Press subscribe so you can follow us and see our other videos, and press the bell so that you get notified as to when we post another video. But that's it for today. Again, hope you found it useful, and I shall see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.